What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country in Washington, D.C., and everything you need to know about on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, stimulus check update, and daily news. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on new videos that come out here on our YouTube channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, subscribing is completely free, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so yet. And also, thanks so much for hitting the like button for us down below. We have some major breaking news here from multiple different senators, including Senator Joe Manchin, regarding, well, the price of oil, the price of gas, and Russia, and how this is going to affect us going forward. And a couple other things here, but we're going to start with this because this is going to be really big here, and this is going to affect us dramatically. Okay, let me show you here, because if we decide to not buy gas from Russia, this is going to be very big, and this is going to affect your wallet. Okay, this is very dramatic. Okay. Ironically, I just asked you guys, our viewing audience, yesterday, because we kind of seen this coming. Should we not buy gas from Russia? Gas and oil. About 8% of our gas from the US is imported from Russia. It may be high, that might be a lot, it might be a little, it depends on how you look at it. But if we stop buying oil and gas from Russia, the price of gas goes up. And if Europe stops buying oil and gas from Russia, the price of gas really goes up. Remember, gas and oil is sold on a global basis, okay? So Russia is the world's #2 largest producer of gas and oil. The United States is actually the first largest producer of gas and oil. The problem with the U.S. is we actually sell about 38% of our oil to other countries. But look at what just happened here. Senator Joe Manchin, a Democrat from West Virginia, well, some question whether he's actually a Democrat or not, and Lisa Murkowski, a Republican, lead a bipartisan bill to ban Russian energy imports and the oil and gas coming from Russia. Now, I just asked you guys, our viewing audience, like yesterday, should we not buy oil and gas from Russia and hit Putin hard? Remember, their whole economy basically depends on the world buying oil and gas from Russia. But would you be willing to pay, say, $1 more per gallon? Just picking a number out of the air because we don't know how much, and we'll get to that here in a second, because the price of gas could go up dramatically. Would you be willing to pay $1 more per gallon, maybe more, to not buy oil from Russia? Now, there's some other things they could do, like drill more, not sell more oil overseas. Remember, that's not really Biden's choice per se. They might be able to do some things, but BP, Chevron, Exxon, all those gas companies, they're the ones selling the oil overseas. But would you be willing to pay a lot more for gas if the U.S. makes this decision to not buy oil from Russia? And some people said yes, and some people said no. Well, this might be happening. Democratic Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia and Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski from Alaska proposed bipartisan legislation to ban Russian energy imports, including gas and oil, in response to the invasion of Ukraine, calling it a counter to Russian weaponizing energy. Joe Manchin said at a press conference, "The United States has the ability to backfill and help all of our allies around the world as Russia uses this energy as a weapon. Quote, we have to make sure that we're doing ours energy production. We do have it cleaner than anyone else. We do have it in a better fashion than anyone else. And we have the ability with a reserve to do much more during this crisis." Manchin also criticized White House Deputy Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre's comments that, quote, we don't have a strategic interest in reducing the global supply of energy. Joe Manchin says, quote, they're so wrong. Lisa Murkowski, meanwhile, called spiking gas prices almost psychological in nature, saying President Biden must change course to reassure energy markets. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. He's got to embrace American energy. He's got to tell the public that he's doing this. Another co-sponsor of the measure, Senator Lindsey Graham, a Republican, noted that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has also expressed support for the import ban of Russian oil, quipping that Russian President Vladimir Putin had done something nobody else could do in bringing them into alignment. There's both Republican and Democratic support for this. In addition to Jean-Pierre's comments, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki confirmed a few days ago on Thursday that the White House remains opposed to an import ban. This might be changing, though, as sentiment grows to do this to Russia, expressing concerns that it could further drive up oil and gas prices, which it will do. It almost certainly will do. She's almost certainly right on that. Jen Psaki says it's as simple as less supply raises prices, and she's right on this. And this is certainly a big factor for the president at this moment. It also has the potential to pad the pockets of Putin, which is exactly what we're not trying to do. I don't really agree with that per se. Now, really, what they need to do if Putin continues this war, which I think most people agree he's going to do, I don't see Putin stopping unless they can cripple him, absolutely cripple him financially. And what they could probably do to do that to him is this could be the blow that could stop him short of actually going into World War III and sending other countries to actually do that, which nobody has wanted to really do so far, even though a new poll, Americans, actually 42% of Americans actually support that military assistance from the U.S. I was actually a bit surprised on that. 42% of Americans do support military assistance. And that could grow even more going forward the longer this drags out. It'd be interesting to see what happens there. But the blow that could actually really affect Putin would be if the U.S. and Europe says we're not going to buy your oil. Not just the U.S. Just the U.S. saying that we won't buy your oil, that sends a good message for the U.S. That'll send our gas prices going up. It sends a good message from the U.S., right? It's a great message that we're not going to buy your oil, right? We do send billions of dollars to them buying their oil. And honestly, it is probably the right message that we really don't want to buy Russia's oil. But are the average everyday person willing to pay extra gas prices? In fact, look at what's already happening here. Right now, the price of WTI crude is at $115, almost $116 a barrel. And the price of Brent crude is at $118 a barrel. This is the highest it has been so far this year, and the highest it has been in probably around like 10 years. This is literally just spiking by the day. You can see here it's up 7.4% here. I think that's in a 24-hour period. You can see how this relates to that's the price of oil. How this relates to the price of gas here in the US. Oh, hold your breath for this one. The national average of gas now, as of this morning, is now $3.92 across the United States. Right here for regular. Yesterday was $3.83, so it's gone up almost 10 cents in 24 hours. And a week ago, it was only $3.59. So that means that the price of gas here in the US has gone up 33 cents per gallon in 1 week. Yeah, that's like 10%. So remember, I was warning you guys about this. I was telling you guys about this. And we haven't even announced that we're not buying Russian oil yet. This is just basically just the price of oil, the global market of oil. I mean, again, this is just the price of oil is traded on a global basis here. And whether or not we buy Russian oil or not, the price of oil is sold on the global market. So this is what it sells for. It's like the stock market, okay? Whatever it sells for on a global market has to do in relation to what gas sells for. And this is driving the price up because of the war in Russia. This is just one of the reasons why people say Putin's got to be stopped. Of course, the whole Ukraine thing, and he's killing innocent people. He's invading the country. He's just taking land. It's not supposed to be his. I mean, don't forget those reasons as well. But I mean, this is just insane. And I mean, imagine what it'll be if we decide to not buy Russian oil anymore. And if you look at this, about a month ago, it was $3.43. That's almost 50 cents. That's 49 cents. We'll just round here to 50 cents because it's 49.5 cents or something like that. A month ago it was 50 cents. So you could basically say that the Russian conflict here, the Ukraine conflict, has raised your gas prices 50 cents. I mean, there's no other reason that gas went up in 1 month by 50%, or 50 cents, sorry, 50 cents. This is directly from AAA.com. So, and here's the thing, is that it can go even higher, even higher. Remember, the price of oil is at 115 to 118 per barrel. But check this out.
Joining me now is Chris Wheaton. He's an oil and gas analyst at Stifel. Chris, welcome. It's good to have you. $200 a barrel. How do we get to that figure?
Well, Kelly, it's pretty simple. If you want to cut all of Russia out of the global oil market, and remember, Russia is the world's second largest oil exporter, just behind Saudi Arabia, at about 7.5 million barrels a day, you need to pull all the levers of supply to put on as much oil into the market as possible. But you also need to kill demand, because that supply isn't going to be enough to push all of that 7.5 million barrels a day out of the market. And if you look at where demand destruction kicks in, if you look back in 2008, when oil prices were last, at a peak of $140, $150 a barrel, adjust that for inflation, and that's how you get to $200 a barrel today. And that's not a price that really we think the global economy can afford.
Quick note on this, because there's been a lot of discussion about that this week. How much demand destruction did we see during 2008? And could you disentangle it from the fact that the U.S. economy was already in recession and about to hit the depth of the financial crisis?
Well, it's difficult to disentangle one factor from another in terms of the economic crash. The real impact came in the second half of 2008, where we saw the global financial crisis really kick in, and particularly, obviously, in that period of the September and then leading into the fourth quarter. You are talking about having to take, we think, not just demand growth out this year, i.e. bring that down to zero, but probably take another 2 million barrels a day off the market on top of that, if you want to take all of Russian oil off the market. That takes oil demand back to 2017, 2018 levels. That's a measure of just how much you've got to kill demand if you want to keep Russian oil off the oil market globally.
So yeah, I remember saying that, headlines saying that oil could go to $125 a barrel. Now it's literally almost there. It's at 118, 115 and 118, depending on which oil. 125 doesn't even seem dramatic anymore. So the question is, should we not buy Russian oil anymore? In theory, the answer is yes. I think we all would agree if money wasn't a factor, if you didn't have to actually go to the pump and pay more, everybody would say, yes, we don't want to buy Russian oil. Absolutely. We don't want to rely on them at all. Everybody here would say yes. Question is, how much more is it going to cost? And how can we limit that? Well, we have senators like Joe Manchin, Lisa Murkowski, even Nancy Pelosi's behind it. But Joe Biden's a little cautious, President Joe Biden, because he knows it's going to cost the American people a lot more. And I can already see it now, right? I can already see it now. If the price of gas goes up, there'll be a lot of Republicans blaming Biden for if this happens, right? I can already see it. It's just kind of Republicans blame Democrats, Democrats blame Republicans, but the Democrats are kind of in control of everything right now, so Democrats can't really blame Republicans right now. If Republicans were in control right now, Democrats would be doing that though. So I can see a lot of people, if that bill happens, if they do stop buying Russian oil, a lot of people will be blaming Biden for a new sudden spike in gas. Remember that Joe Manchin is also, as you can see here, he's a pretty popular guy right now, if that's the right word. Is that the right word for Joe Manchin right now? He's also in favor of a new spending bill, as you can see here, that can get his vote, uh, and is actually in negotiations with the new stimulus package that President Joe Biden just kind of unveiled. What was that, about 48 hours ago at this point, or so, a couple nights ago, when he gave his State of the Union speech. Joe Manchin says he's for it. It just needs to reduce the deficit and be anti-inflationary because, well, look at inflation, look at the price of gas, and honestly, with the price of gas and oil going up even more right now, inflation readings are probably going to be even worse for the next who knows how long, right? So Joe Manchin could really help out a lot of people right now with, say, anti-inflation checks, helping people out. You know, this thing right here, I mean, it does cut off Russia, but it will actually cause more inflation. It'll actually cause the price of gas to go up. So, I mean, it's probably the right thing to do, but how can we compensate the American people right now? You know, it's like I said, it's a double-edged sword. So maybe they could use the $800 billion of stimulus money that's just sitting there, already approved, and send it out as anti-inflation checks, cut off Russian oil, gas might go up, but use that stimulus money that's already sitting there and send out checks as anti-inflationary checks to, say, compensate the American people or something of that nature, right? The stimulus money's already been approved, it's already been allocated, right? And say, hey, this is going to compensate Americans for the pain at the pump that they might pay for the short term, right? This stimulus money's already been approved. It's half approved under Biden, half approved under Trump, stimulus package 1, 2, and 3. Let's use that money right now to compensate the American people for the pain they're going to feel at the pump, the inflationary pain they're going to feel with other things of, going up in price here. This money's already been approved by Congress, right? So, and Joe Manchin could say, step up and be the hero of the day, along with everybody else there in Congress and the president, um, as opposed to just not helping out the people, right? We have other states actually sending out anti-inflationary checks right now. If you've been watching my show here, you see this here, and I'll link you to a video here of a state that just did that. We have a couple different states here actually doing things like this. So make sure to subscribe to our channel here down below. If you haven't yet, it's completely free to do so. I'll keep you in the loop here on all these things that Congress is doing, what's going on with Russia, these states that are sending out stimulus checks and stimulus programs. There's a lot going on here, and I'll keep you up to date here with everything here on a daily basis. Remember that new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember those times so you don't miss out on new videos. Subscribe is completely free to do so. So if you haven't done so, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. You can click this video here to watch my newest video next. And this is the video about anti-inflation stimulus checks going out. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.